The uncertainty reduction theory, created by Charles Berger, is the increased knowledge of what kind of person another is, which provides an improved forecast of how a future interaction will turn out. The uncertainty reduction theory focuses on how human communication is used to gain knowledge and create future understanding. Following the socio-psychological tradition, there is a focus on individual cognition and behavioral characteristics in the communicative event. Suppose you are meeting someone for the first time. How will you prepare? Are you nervous? The uncertainty reduction theory proposes how one will handle their meeting another person. Charles Berger is from Davis, California, Professor Emeritus of Communication at the University of California, Davis, along with the head of the Department of Communications at UC Davis. He has over 100 articles and book chapters published and 34 publications with this theory. He received his Bachelor of Science in Psychology from Pennsylvania State University and his Master's and PhD in Communication from Michigan State University. He has done previous work at Northwestern University and Illinois State University and has received the NCA's Mark Knapp Award, which recognizes career contributions to the study of interpersonal communication. Berger has published on many topics in interpersonal communication, along with co-authoring 5 books and contributing to over 30 texts. This information was found in the Communications Department of UC Davis online and through Sage Publishing. In 1975, Charles Berger created the uncertainty reduction theory to explain how communication is used to reduce uncertainties between strangers engaging in their first conversation together. The theory focuses on how human communication is used to gain knowledge and create future understanding about another person. Berger contends that our drive to reduce uncertainty about new acquaintances gets a boost from any of these conditions. Anticipation of future interaction, we know that we will see them again. Incentive value, they have something we want, or deviance, they act in a weird way. On page 109 of our book, A First Look at Communication, an example is made in using the idea of 2 dogs. The 2 dogs would circle and sniff each other, trying to get some idea of what their counterpart was like. Humans are different. We're just a bit more subtle, using symbols instead of smells to reach our conclusions. There are 2 types of uncertainty. Behavioral questions, such as if you should shake or who pays, or cognitive questions, aimed at discovering who the other person is as an individual. What makes them happy or sad? What does she like about her job? Berger generated 8 axioms to explain relationship development. Axiom 1, verbal communication, states that given a high level of uncertainty, the amount of verbal communication between strangers increases. As words begin to flow, you find things about each other that makes you feel more confident in each other's presence. Axiom 2, nonverbal warmth, states that as a nonverbal affiliative expressiveness increase, uncertainty levels will decrease in an initial interaction situation. Initial stiffness gives ways to head nods and tentative smiles, and you'll have a better idea of who the person is. This sense of assurance leads to signals of warmth. Axiom 3, information seeking, states that high levels of uncertainty cause increases in information seeking behavior, like monitoring what one says and acts to gain clues about who they are. Axiom 4, self-disclosure, states that high levels of uncertainty in a relationship cause decreases in the intimacy levels of the communication content, and low levels of uncertainty produce high levels of intimacy. Axiom 5, reciprocity, states that high levels of uncertainty produce high rates of reciprocity, and low levels of uncertainty produce low rates of reciprocity. Self-disclosure research confirms that notion that people tend to mete out the personal details of their lives at a rate that closely matches their partner's willingness to share intimate information. Reciprocal vulnerability is especially important in the early stage of relationships, when knowledge of each other is minimal. We're cautious not to let the other person one-up us by being able to hold our potentially embarrassing information. Axiom 6, similarity, states that similarities between persons reduce uncertainty. The more points of contact you establish with someone, the more you will feel like you understand them. Axiom 7, liking, states that increases in uncertainty level produce decreases in liking. The more you find out about someone, the more you appreciate about him or her. Axiom 8, shared networks, states that shared communication networks reduce uncertainty, while lack of shared networks increases uncertainty. This axiom wasn't originally part of Berger's theory, but his ideas triggered research by other communication scholars. There are 4 approaches we can use to reduce uncertainty by seeking information. The passive strategy imposes unobtrusively observing others from a distance. The active strategy asks a third party for information. Knowing their mutual equations will give a slanted view. The interactive strategy is talking face to face with the person and asking specific questions. And the extractive strategy is using the internet to find information about someone. In the movie Meet the Fockers, Pam invites her boyfriend Greg to meet her parents for a weekend. Greg is a male nurse trying to gain approval of his girlfriend's parents. Greg and Jack, Pam's father, meet off to a rough start. They don't have similar interests, and they argue throughout the movie. The uncertainty reduction theory is influential in analyzing how Greg and Jack communicate upon initial interactions because it demonstrates how two strangers communicate messages to each other to attempt to reduce their uncertainty. Looking back on Axiom 6, similarity, Greg and Jack have very opposite similarities. In a conversation with her father, Pam tells Jack that Greg doesn't like cats. Jack, who is a devoted cat dad, showed disapproval through his facial expressions. According to Weston Turner in regard to Axiom 6, similarities between people reduce uncertainty, whereas dissimilarities increase uncertainty. The uncertainty reduction theory can provide ways in order to reduce uncertainty upon initial interaction. This theory was very interesting to study because it's something that you experience very often through the meeting of new people with disregard. Berger believes that most in social interaction is goal-driven, and that we have reasons for saying what we say, which gave way to his explanation of how we communicate to reduce uncertainty. We continually construct cognitive plans to guide our communication, like arriving on time, dressing for an occasion, or having a friendly, professional mannerism. Thank you.